For the following exercise, solve the quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. 3x squared plus 10x plus 8. So whenever you notice that you have a quadratic, and you know that you have a quadratic because there is a squared term, and that's the highest degree term that exists. You need to get everything to one side and set it to 0. Then the first thing you should always try is factoring. But if you're not getting the correct factors, or if it doesn't appear that it will factor, that's when you would use a more advanced method like the completing the square process or the quadratic formula. So the thing about completing the square is that the leading term coefficient has to be divided away. And when I divide everything through by 3, I'm going to have 10 thirds here, 8 thirds there. It's going to be involving a lot of fractions, which I'd prefer to avoid if possible. So the thing that I'm going to try here is the recommended method, which is the quadratic formula, and see where that gets me. So the quadratic formula, the first thing I want to recommend is if you don't know the formula, don't use it, because nothing can guarantee that you're going to get a wrong answer other than not knowing the formula that's going to give you that answer. Humans, by nature, generally aren't that great at memorizing formulas, and so processes are generally better anyway. Let's take a look at this. So the leading term coefficient is A, the linear coefficient is B, and the constant term is C. Now we just take those numbers and plug in. The problem with this, even though it seems like it should be the simplest, is if these numbers get inflated, which they often can, the amount of simplification that's required later on is probably much higher. So let's give it a shot here. Negative b, so that's negative 10, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 100, minus 4ac, so 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 times 8, I think that's 72. Let me try another way here. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 4, I'll just get the calculator just to make sure I'm not going to make an arithmetic error. 4 times 3 times 8, 96. I was wrong. Now, over 2a, 2a gives me 6. So negative 10 plus or minus the square root of 4, which is nice, all over 6, or negative 10 plus or minus 2 over 6. So this would be negative 10 plus 2 would be negative 8 over 6, or negative 2 minus 10 would be negative 12 over 6. So that gives me the values negative 4 thirds and negative 2 as my solutions. And what that means is this would have actually worked out through factoring. So had we chosen the factoring method, we still could have gotten the solutions that way.